Hey there! Welcome to Rachel Watches Star Trek. Here we are with the Next Generation episode, the Royale. And I'm glad to see that some of the Best Friends gang are already there on the comments. Good to see everybody. Peter Larson's here. Magic Thighs is here. And David Wetzel is here. Hey, Rafe Ball popping in there too. And of course, we've got Stephen Turner as well. Did I say everybody? I hope so. Everybody that we've heard from so far. I know there's some of you in there as well. So, hey. Good. So, if you're watching us live, happy Easter Monday. Thanks for either getting away from work or coming to join us on your day off work. This time, I've got to remember to actually stay on the microphone because, as you might have heard, if anyone listened to the edited episode, it was a bit that.
Well, yeah, there's a lot going on. We're very excited about talking to you folks, and being live is a very difficult thing to do for us because we're typically just in our room, so we can be as rough and ready as we want to be.
Real rough. But it was fun, wasn't it? I really liked it.
It was fun.
Hey, Forrest. Hey, Joe. Great to see you on there. Hey, Rebecca and Jason. Oh, that's lovely. I'm so glad you're here. We're having a... And thank you for saying that we look fancy, Stephen. I'm trying to channel the 80s lady who's taken advantage of in the episode. We're drinking pure water.
Pour water.
Hey, John. Right, let's get cracking.
I guess we should. Let me get rolling on the video.
Blue Lemmy, howdy. Hope I'm saying that right. Martinis in the morning. Well, it's 8 p.m. for us here, so anything goes. Just get stuck in. But it is water because otherwise I'll forget everything that I intended to say.
Yes.
We'll go for the martinis later, I think. Alison, styling, thank you. Andrew, Ruth. Yeah, get the martinis out. It's a holiday, isn't it?
It is a holiday.
Put an olive in it. You're right. I should have. Man. Hey, good to see you. Dressed for the occasion. Yes, thank you. All right.
So we begin. Shall we begin?
Yeah.
All right. So, Rachel.
Yeah?
The Enterprise investigates the wreckage of a 21st century Earth spaceship orbiting a distant planet that appears to have a 20th century Earth casino. What do you think you're going to get?
No doubt there'll be plenty of shenanigans caused by this so-called lifeless planet. I know that Data wears a Stetson in it, so he's going to be a high roller ranch owner for some reason. Let's say. I'm hoping for craps, but knowing Star Trek, it will be poker or maybe blackjack. The one woman allowed down will be Pulaski again, though everyone would rather see Troy or Guinan take on a casino. Light beings will make them gamble for their lives.
Sounds good. I believe it. I think that's exactly what's going to happen in the whole episode.
Let's see.
All right.
Welcome, Julia. I think I said everybody. And if I haven't said you, then just comment again, won't you?
Yeah.
More like the singular of craps, Magic Thighs. Totally agree, and that is a one-word review. Craps sandwich for this episode. Okay.
No, it was. She said. No, they said. Magic Thighs. Pronoun.
Oh yeah, let us know.
Let us know. Magic Thighs said that this episode should be called The Royale with Cheese.
Yeah, what, like in Pulp Fiction?
Well, yeah, they call it in France, the Big Mac.
Yeah.
No, the Quarter Pounder. The Quarter Pounder is the Royale with Cheese.
Well, they're also saying that it is crap.
That it's cheesy. Yeah. That's what's going on.
Hey, Brian, good to see you.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start off with the captain's log. As you know, it'll be
do you want to read
the real
it?
one when it comes in the episode. Sure. Captain's log, stardate 42625.4. We're entering orbit around the 8th planet in this previously unmapped Theta 116 solar system. We diverted from our scheduled course when a passing Klingon cruiser reported discovering pieces of a strange vessel in the upper atmosphere of the planet. We have come to investigate. Welcome to Rachel Watches Star Trek. I'm Rachel Lackey.
And I'm Chris Lackey.
And you're joining us here for the Next Generation episode, The Royale.
Yeah.
Do you remember this one, Chris?
I do remember it, and I remember not liking it, and my memory was on the money.
I remember not liking it as well.
It was written by Keith Mills and directed by Cliff Boyle, but Keith Mills is actually Tracy Torme.
I'm sensing someone distancing themselves from this episode quite rightly.
Yes, it was because good old Maurice Hurley got his fingers into this episode, and Tracy Torme was like, I don't want my name on this anymore. It's not mine. Out of here. But we can talk about that more later. Let's get into this episode.
Looking at the lovely comments as usual.
You can read some of them.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, David says my guesses always sound good. Maybe better than what we're going to get.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, not a favourite episode. Yeah, there's quite a consensus here that it's pretty bad. Forrest, very, very poor. Soul sucked out of a version of 100 different episodes of Twilight Zone. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not good, is it?
The episode begins with the Enterprise in orbit around the 8th planet of the Theta 116 system. It seems a Klingon ship discovered a strange vessel wrecked on the planet, and they are there to investigate.
Picard is puzzling over an unsolved maths equation called Fermat's Last Theorem. Picard goes on about how amazing this guy was to do what he did without any computers. More on this in Concepts. Exciting developments.
Yes. Yeah. So they got a piece of the ship, and they're beaming it over to the Enterprise. Picard, Riker, and good old Miles O'Brien.
Oh, yeah.
They love shoehorning him into this episode.
Get that guy in. Is he a competition winner? Or someone's son?
No.
He is, isn't he?
He is one of those very ubiquitous Irish actors. He's in lots of movies.
I know. I like him a lot. I don't see the purpose yet of, thank you, John, maths. Yes. And who's just told me that they resent watching this? James Holloway. Yeah, thanks for watching it for the purposes of this live stream. And I think you're very right to resent that.
Well, sometimes, James, we watch these episodes so you don't have to.
Yeah, but it's more fun when you have, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a classic for all the wrong reasons. Blue Lemon. I think you're right. Definitely. Yeah, more than any of the women put together.
Oof.
But he does a good gesture in this quite a lot. Of raising, of transporting, they keep doing.
He's good at that. I mean, that's his job. Hopefully he is good at it. Now, when they beam this chunk over, it has a NASA logo with the United States flag on it, but this one has 52 stars.
And there's a 2-minute slow zoom in on the panel. Really padding it out. So who do you think might have been added to the United States?
Well, Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
Puerto Rico was one of those that people have been talking about should have statehood for quite some time.
Yeah.
I've read some people suggesting that the city of New York should become its own state.
Right. Oh, okay.
Just because sheer population and size. The city of New York is bigger, I think, population-wise than Montana.
Oh, wow.
And North Dakota and all that stuff.
DC, if you're saying DC and Puerto Rico.
Yes.
I was thinking Austin might want to go out on its own. I don't know a lot about it, but
Guam.
Oh.
That's another one that they're talking about.
Okay. Oh, Guam, yeah. David Wetzel agrees. John Hazard don't want NYC to go off on its own. It's not a good idea. Peter Larson's gently, I imagine, admonishing me, saying that's what makes the transporter work.
It does.
So
yeah, that's how you work the transporter.
Yeah. I'm just looking at everything.
American Samoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, really? Gosh. Well, let's see if it happens.
Watch the
screen. Yeah, watch the screen. If you weren't here with us last time, we have to keep watching the screen because it keeps conking out on us, and then we have to re-record everything that we've missed. Later in the observation lounge, Data confirms that it's from mid-21st century Earth, this panel, but no one has any idea how it could have got out this far, hundreds of light years from Earth. And I'm not sure if they're not going to explain it, are they?
Nope.
It's going to be as mysterious as that maths theorem. They tell us at the end. Data says it looks like it was destroyed by modern weaponry, though. Mm-hmm. Very puzzling for them.
Wesley finds a small portion of the planet is actually habitable. Even the rest of it, it's got kind of it has an atmosphere that's very cold, and it's got ammonia in it, so it's totally not habitable.
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 And as someone said earlier, it's too cold to be possible. It's below absolute zero.
Oh.
And too old to be possible because it's older than the universe. So well done.
So, yeah.
Sorry, whoever pointed that out. Absolutely right.
Glad they did the research. But this one area is habitable, and there seems to be some kind of structure there as well, with breathable air, warm air. Picard has Riker, Worf, and Data beam down to the planet.
Joe Webb's not convinced that this is water.
It is water.
It is water.
I wish it wasn't. They beam.
Is it me? Oh no.
No, it's me. They beam into this black void with green clouds above, moving very quickly, rapidly, storming over them, and a very single retro-style revolving door attached to nothing.
And they're very brightly lit by
nothing. There is nothing else around, yet they are very well lit.
Soundstage. Data says there's a structure there, but they can't see it. They can only see the door. Riker reports to the Enterprise, and Picard tells them to check it out. Once they go inside, communication is lost. What they find inside is an old-style casino, which looks kind of 50s, 60s casino, but everybody's super 80s. And there's a bit of this going on. There's quite a lot of sequins.
Yeah.
Bit of country and western stuff.
John Hazard points out that it's very Squire of Gothos.
Oh, right. Okay. To be trapped there.
Well, the kind of surrealness of it as well. And David Wetzel approves of that surreality.
Well, yeah. If only it was a bit more fun. Did we? Yeah, I keep thinking I like the Squire of Gothos, and then I didn't. Cat's Paw says Alison Scott. Yeah, if only there was a cat in it as well. Wouldn't you wear spacesuits just in case? Well, that can apply to most Star Trek episodes, and of course they don't.
Never.
Come on. Data, no, I've done that bit. Data notes they lost communication, so they should leave, as is the rule. But Riker says, it all seems safe enough. Let's go in and have a little bit of fun.
Watching the screen.
What else are they doing?
Yeah. Now, a bellhop tells them they should go check in at the front desk. The assistant manager welcomes them to the Hotel Royale. Now, this actor, Sam Anderson, is one of these ubiquitous character actors from the 80s into the 90s. I've seen him all over the place, lots of things. The thing I think he's probably most well known for is Principal DeWitt on Growing Pains, because he was on there multiple times.
I've never seen that. He did look kind of familiar, though. He's very menacing in this for seemingly no reason. Not very welcoming as a receptionist.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make it seem like there's a threat. There is a threat that's going on because they want us to feel tension.
Yeah. And as Alison says, the stupid expert count begins with them staying there to investigate. And John's pointing out it's like the Squire also because of the small habitable zone.
Yes.
In an otherwise impossible place. Yes. Forrest says Kirk's glittery spacesuit from the Tholian web would have fit in quite well at this casino, if only. The function of this assistant manager is just exposition, I suppose, about a story that no one cares. About a story, I don't know how to do proper grammar, a story about which no one cares. Is that how you do it?
Sure. That works. Now, the bellhop goes up to the assistant manager, and he's asking him if he's heard from Rita.
Mm.
Now, the assistant manager tells him, forget about Rita. She's not worth it. And the bellhop says, I'm not afraid of Mickey D. McDonald's, I guess.
Sure.
And the assistant manager says, you should be. You're a fool for not being scared of Mickey D.
The actor's trying his best to put something into these lines, but it's quite an odd reading.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's doing something with it. He's trying to bring some kind of entertainment score to it. So our guys, the crew, get their room key and some poker chips on the house. They seem to be mistaken for some foreign investors, which is what they will turn out to be to them in the end.
I got so many questions, or maybe problems. They're not really questions, but we'll get to that in concepts at the end of the episode.
David says, forget about Rita because we'll never see her unless she's the dumb woman who's been taken advantage of.
That's not Rita.
You never do see her.
That's not Rita. Now Worf asks, who are you, to the assistant manager, and where did you come from? And he says, well, that's my personal life and it's none of your business.
Yeah, all right then. You're the one having the personal conversation in front of the new guests about Mickey D and Rita. You know, it's like we're opening it up. And all that jazz. Yeah.
The assistant manager says they are on Earth, but then he leaves to go sort some mail or something.
Yeah.
Data begins scanning with his tricorder. Now we're going to have a cut scene here an audio cutscene, but since we're not doing it on the live bit, we're going to act it out. Okay.
All right.
You be Data, and I'll be Worf and Riker.
All right.
Okay.
None of these people are emitting life signs.
You mean they're not alive?
Then what are they?
These beings, are they machines or mere illusions designed to deceive us?
Not illusion, Lieutenant. They do exist, but they do not register as either man or machine. Take this creature, for example. He does not exhibit any DNA structure. Excuse me, son. Look who's talking, man. That's terrible. Is that New York? Was that
I don't know what you're doing there.
Well, excuse me, son. Look who's talking, man. You sound just like my ex-wife. All right, time to get back to business.
That's pretty good.
Sorry if you're from anywhere in the South. What sort of business do you suppose he's getting down to?
But Data actually says business.
Oh, what sort of business?
Business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Hilarious.
Andrew Brenneman wants to turn back the clock and watch the DS9 Casino episode. Do you know that one?
Oh yes.
Is that a good one?
Yeah, it is a good one. That's a good one.
Back on the Enterprise, Picard is harassing Wesley and LaFord for some answers as to why they lost communication. He asks if an intelligence cut them off, but there isn't enough information to know. So we're going to keep popping back and forth to those guys.
Yes.
Without much story really coming out of it.
Now, Troy says that...
Rafe, are you saying that my amazing Texan accent sounded like Louis Armstrong? Yes. Cranking it up now, isn't she?
Yeah, but this is crazy. If you think of it, it's 23,000 miles. So she can sense somebody's emotion from 23,000 miles away. Now the Earth, so basically,
maybe it's only Riker because they're kind of matched, aren't they?
It's still 27,000 miles. That's bigger than the planet side by side 5 times. My math's terrible. 4 times.
More powerful than the Enterprise.
Yeah. So she can sense these. Have we talked about this before on the show? I don't know if we have. She's got insane psychic abilities.
And Rafe says, it's no problem. Troy's abilities are normally so relatable.
Reliable.
Oh, what reliable? Oh, yeah, of course. Splashy's even in this episode. Just trying to rearrange my position because they can not really be seen over this microphone, but I need to get in on this.
You can move the microphone.
Yeah. I'm all right. Now I'm tall.
Now your head's cut off. So I think it's a little nuts that she's actually this powerful, that over thousands of miles she can sense somebody's emotions. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous.
Now Data goes over to the blackjack table where there is this younger, kind of trashy looking woman losing her money, and this older guy called Texas who is creeping on her. The guy buddies up to Data, puts his hat on Data's head and says, hey, why don't you join our game?
And the zaniness that is now promised can begin, but not for long. So he's just the good old lechy, occasionally comprehensible guy. Did you find it quite hard to understand what he was saying?
No.
Texas?
No, I didn't.
That's just me then, I guess.
I'm into that wavelength, That's me. Now, Data accesses the rules of blackjack just in his own memory, and he does some fancy card cutting and impresses both Texas and the woman. She loses some more money. Texas wins.
Andrew's saying maybe Troy has to charge her powers up, and she's just blown 3 seasons of power in this. Just to uselessly feel that Riker's amused. That must be how it works. Yeah, magic dies. It's all completely believable. It's only the distance that's the problem.
True.
Yep.
True.
Noble Willingham is the actor playing Texas, best known for his role as C.D. Parker on the TV series Walker, Texas Ranger. Have you seen that? Did you like that?
I never watched that show, no, but he seems familiar. I think he's been in other things. He's another character actor that was in a lot of TV in the 80s. Also
in City Slickers 1 and 2, I loved whichever one's got the little animal in it. Isn't Billy Crystal in it?
Yeah.
I loved that film when I was a kid.
I don't remember the second one.
I don't know what it's about, though.
It's good. Yeah, it's a bunch of city people.
Yeah, of course.
Middle-aged men decide they're going to go to a ranch and become cowboys for a while. And then trouble happens. Jack Palance is in it. He dies, and they have to deal with his dead body. He looks like a saddlebag with eyes.
Oh,
Remember?
no.
No, okay. It's a good movie.
Joe says you're a Texas oil man at heart. Where's your evidence? Where are you getting that from? How do you know?
So Data does well in the game, but then Riker pulls him away to actually do some work. Data asks Texas to watch his chips, which he happily does.
Back on the Enterprise, Picard wants an update. Back for another scene to confirm they don't know what's going on, but Wesley and Geordi are trying stuff. That's the summary of most of these scenes on the Enterprise.
Yes. Riker starts to get a bit wigged out, so he decides, maybe we should go. And they try to go through the revolving doors, but when they go, they just come right back in. They're trapped.
No! Alison's saying it'd all be fine if alien civilizations had access to better fiction. Not if they got hold of Mrs. Dalloway and The Sound and the Fury or Crime and Punishment.
Ooh.
I don't know any of those stories. I'm sorry, Alison. Tell me why those are worse. Does everyone die?
Yes, the great Jack Palance. David corrected me.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Hey, no. Jack was a brilliant Dracula. Ooh.
He was.
Right, so go out one side, come back on the other. Just try one person going through, because they're going out on one side of the door and then they're coming back in on the flip side, aren't they? So if only one comes through, that won't work. If only one goes, they'll see that person leave, and then somehow
I don't know why you're hooked up on this. Like,
Yeah.
This is the thing that you're hooked up on of all the crazy stuff that goes on.
They try to find another way out. Worf attempts to blast through a wall, and Data asks some slot ladies. None of it works. It seemed like at that point, nobody in the casino could hear them or see them anymore.
Well, they were ignoring them. I got the sense that they were sort of automatons, that they weren't whatever they're made of. If they were holograms or if they were machines or whatever they were. Remember, Data says he didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
Even when Worf asked him. So part of this drama that's playing out, they're not going to be any help.
Right, because it's not relevant to the story.
The book,
as we find out later.
I guess.
Ruth says, "Happy First Contact Day, everyone."
Yes.
Happy First Contact Day.
Wait, yeah, we.
Oh, that's when we did that BBC America, isn't it?
Yeah, it was on First Contact Day. Trek Back.
Yeah, yes. That came up on Facebook Memories. Gosh, that feels like a long time ago.
I think 2 years ago.
Wow. Watch the screen.
On the Enterprise, LaForge has found a way to break through the interference, and Troy says that she feels Riker is now feeling trapped.
What a waste of my time. Just get on with it.
Yeah.
Just make it shorter.
It's okay. It's all right.
Riker's going back to the front desk, and the assistant manager he sees that the bellboy
mm-hmm.
has a gun. The assistant manager tells him he's being a fool, but the guy insists that Mickey D is going to leave Rita alone one way or the other.
Ooh. So Riker tells the assistant manager that he wants to leave, and the assistant manager says the exits are clearly marked. Mm-hmm. Riker says, well, that's not working. And the assistant manager tells them to take it up with the manager. And he goes, okay, let me talk to the manager. And he goes, sorry, he's busy.
Why did you mention it then? Don't bring up the manager if you're going to say they're not available.
Picard is able to get a garbled communication through, and they explain that they are trapped. And Picard says, look, we're working on a solution. Data says that he's found some human DNA up in one of the rooms, and then they go to investigate.
Well done. At least somebody's thinking. Now, Steven said he lived in Vegas for 11 years.
Oh, wow.
All the casinos are like that, so you just have to keep sitting and gambling because you can't find the exit. Yes. Like IKEA.
It is like
which
IKEA.
I also hate.
Yeah.
I don't hate Vegas. I'm not saying I hate Vegas, but I do hate IKEA.
Now, in one of the rooms, they find a dried out human skeleton. Data says the corpse is of a human male. Riker thinks he died in his sleep. I don't know why he thinks that. Worf thinks that that's a horrible way to die.
I didn't catch that. I didn't catch him saying that in the episode. Oh. At least that's an attempt at a bit of humor. It's a shame that passed me by.
There's no honor in dying in your sleep.
Yeah.
Data says that the man died 283 years ago and that the corpse has been preserved by the sterile environment.
Rafe, are you saying that Troy could probably add that Worf is feeling grumpy, even if she couldn't sense him? It's 99% likely to be right. She might as well throw it in.
That's good. She just goes, yeah, Riker's feeling trapped and Worf is feeling grumpy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just as useful as the other information, to be honest.
Now, this sterile environment, that wouldn't stop the sheets getting all gooey if someone's turning from human to skeleton. It doesn't just evaporate, does it?
Yeah. 283 years, it would totally evaporate. It would evaporate like in a day or two. It would dry out. Sterile just means there's no germs or bacteria.
So then it doesn't decompose?
It won't decompose that way, but it'll dry out.
Ew, says Joe. And I say, so the sheets would be completely clean.
No, they would be clean.
They are clean, though.
Because, there's like this kind of gray powder around it.
Yeah.
Which I think is, detritus or, maybe dried, flaked off skin, or the liquids, because there were liquids in his body when he died. And those would have eventually, busted through the skin and he would have bloated. It'd be gross. Yeah.
John says the sheets would be gross. I say they would be gross too, but they weren't gross.
They'd be gross, but dried up gross because it's been 283 years. It would dry out by then.
And brushed off. And as Peter said, if it's colder than absolute zero, freeze dried.
True.
Yeah.
Now, Riker says that the casino, he goes, a casino made for a dead man? Worf finds an old flight suit in the closet. It matches the space debris, and it has the name Colonel S. Ritchie on it.
Now they're able to get stable communications with the Enterprise. Can you remember how? We just have to accept that they have.
He was, Geordi was fitting with the different frequencies and all that business.
Well done, Geordi.
Oh, yeah.
He's always on it, isn't he?
Of course.
Riker tells them about Colonel Ritchie, and they found a journal and a paperback novel called Hotel Royale. Data reads the book in a minute, just speed reads it. And Picard says there was a Colonel Stephen G. Ritchie who was the commander of a space mission that left Earth in 2037. It was the third mission that attempted to leave the solar system. We're a bit behind, aren't we? The ship was lost.
Mm-hmm. Data explains that the novel is a crappy pulp about murder, adultery, and crime.
Yes, David. Why are they keeping the casino going for 300 years with no audience and for no purpose?
It doesn't make a lick of sense. There's so many things about this that really don't make any sense.
Why are they still running that program?
Riker says it's obvious the novel's being played out around them because they've seen, the thing with Mickey D and the gun and the bellhop. He reads there's a journal there, and Riker reads there's only one entry in the journal from Colonel Ritchie.
Thank goodness. At least we don't have to watch 10 logs like we did in the last episode. Read everything out in his diary to fill time.
So the journal states that he is the sole survivor of his crew that got some kind of alien contamination. He found himself in the Hotel Royale, and that this novel is being brought into reality somehow. He thinks the aliens made it for him out of some kind of guilt and used the novel as a kind of guide for what kind of environment or civilization he comes from.
Because they can read English, but they don't. Just ask him.
They could read English, okay, but how do they know, for example, what...
To do this hairstyle.
To do the hairstyle.
To make everyone look 80s.
What a roulette table is.
How you play.
How you play these games. All these very complicated things.
Joe says it's like the Alice in Wonderland Shore Leave episode. Well, it's definitely as strange as that.
Well, yeah, maybe they do somehow probe his mind and then they extrapolate all the stuff from his mind. But then if they could do that, then why didn't they know that he didn't really want this?
Yeah.
It doesn't make it this. Let's talk about this in concept. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
It says
maybe they don't. Maybe they have no concept of death, says James Holloway, or they just think he's going through a bit of a slow patch because they don't. They don't know that just lying there, freeze drying, means you're dead.
Freeze drying.
Ray Fall says, I wish to complain. I bought this human here last week and he's dead. Maybe not dead. He's pining for the fjords. What's that reference to?
That's the Monty Python Dead Parrot.
Oh, right. Okay.
Sketch.
Yeah.
It says in his journal that he managed to live 38 years there. So he lived a long time afterwards.
Well, yeah.
The aliens obviously didn't know that the book wasn't how humans actually lived, and it became a sort of hell for Ritchie. He said in his journal he welcomed death.
Yikes.
Picard, though, he wonders, why can't they leave? So do I.
Will that ever be revealed? Now, where did we get to? Oh, there. So we've already said they must have had all the detailed hair and clothing in the episode.
Mhm.
It might have been a more interesting episode if the guy was still alive. And then they could have interacted with him in his hell and the impact that it had had on him to have been there for decades.
Yeah.
And him trying to get out.
There'd be no mystery element to it. And that's almost the whole episode.
God, it's not worth it, is it, flipping heck?
I don't know what the original script was like. I couldn't, when I did my research on it, because this was changed a lot by Maurice, I'm not sure what was going on with it. I couldn't find as many details.
Got a bit on it.
Yeah.
At the end. Yeah, anything would have been more interesting, says Alison. Yes. And Empire Jeff, if he was still alive, he would be quite old, wouldn't he? So that would be interesting.
That's true.
I suppose. Or a recreation of him, says Rafe. Yeah, they could have kept him alive or made a data of him or something.
Picard says that they might be able to phaser a hole through the bubble around the place and then beam the away team out. But Data calculates that they would only have 12 seconds before the atmosphere of the planet rushed in and killed them all. Dr. Pulaski says they would instantly be frozen, but she could revive them in principle.
She's good, isn't she?
Oh, yeah.
But she's not promising anything. They're in the room with the freeze-dried guy. Oh, the screen's just gone blank.
Hold on.
Let's log back in and make sure we're recording before we go any further. Yes, James, there's barely any mystery in it anyway.
Yeah.
So come on.
Agreed.
And Forrest says there were seeds of a really spooky, horrifying episode. TZ style. What's that? TZ? Twilight Zone style, but just destroyed through sheer boredom. Joe Webb, add water and stir. What, stir the guy back to life or stir the episode into life?
Oh.
Either way, I wish. So the phone rings in the hotel room, surprising them. Worf answers, do we want room service? Data thinks that's housekeeping, so they say no. And Worf is told that the kitchen is open at all times if they change their mind. We can see comedy from here. But we're not
laughing.
We're not arriving.
We're not there.
It's taken no further. Riker orders Data and Worf to the lobby while he explores the rest of the hotel.
Now, Picard and Troy begin reading the novel Hotel Royale and quickly realize that it's terrible. Picard is dismayed, but Troy says, it may get better.
Yeah, like the scripting of her character. Ooh.
They even say, Troy says at one point in there, did people really talk like this? And he goes, oh no, this is terrible writing. And then
Did they just add that in when they were recording?
Man, the pot calling the kettle black, let me tell you.
Yeah, Joe, we can see the comedy from thousands of miles off. Troy can sense it. No one else can. Burn.
Data returns to the blackjack table, and there's a whole conversation with Texas, which gets us nowhere.
So we won't go into it. Texas is creeping and manipulating the woman to lose, and she's a dum-dum. Oh, screen.
Hold on.
I'm getting that screen thing going. There we go. It's going again.
Okay.
The episode runs right up to comedy, but doesn't shake hands, says Steve. It got that close. She shows her cards, this lady, asking for advice. The man advises her to take another card. Data gives her the opposite advice. She believes Texas and loses again, and she's almost broke. Why is her character relevant if she's not Rita?
That's the subplot in the novel. Right. Texas basically tricks her into gambling away all of her money. She becomes vulnerable, and then he can perpetrate on her.
Oh.
Like, oh, you got no money? You can come stay at my room.
Oh, I see.
Perv on.
Jason says, if they have housekeeping, at what point would the cleaners start to not distinguish the astronaut from just goo to be cleaned up?
Good point.
Yep.
So many questions, so few answers. Troy and Picard are listening in and discussing how... Oh, I already said this.
Mickey D enters through the revolving door and approaches the bellboy. It's on.
Yes. Mickey D shoots the bellhop in the back, killing him, and says, no woman is worth dying for, but is worth killing for. And then he leaves. Riker asks Picard how he can leave, and Picard explains, well, that's what happened on page 244.
So this must be the solution. Picard says the novel ends with the hotel being bought out by foreign investors for $12.5 million, who then leave the assistant manager in charge. The book doesn't describe the investors at all, conveniently.
Sure.
So they could be anyone, even space guys from the future. Riker has a great idea.
So Data says craps is a game of probabilities and he could win them money.
Yes, David, it's on, but for half a second.
Yeah, not long at all.
It just turns out that Data can throw a dice to get a 7 later, though, doesn't it? Just again and again, which has nothing to do with probabilities.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we had to have that.
I'm not sure if he was playing odds or if there was something about his super android nature that allowed him to actually throw the dice the way that he wanted them. Like he was so agile.
He realizes they're weighted and he can adjust for that. And then for some reason, he can get a 7 every time.
I guess so.
Yeah.
He joins the craps table where Texas is helping the not very smart lady. She's losing. Data is given the dice.
They talk about probabilities and random fortune. Data loses, but Texas believes in him. And soon he's on a winning streak and everyone's betting that he's going to continue that way and they're all making money. This is because he's noticed the dice are loaded and he's reweighted them in his favor, sassing, "Baby needs a new pair of shoes." This part of the episode finally fizzes a little bit.
Fizzes? Is that a good thing?
Well, it's not crackling and it's
I
not
see. Okay.
going, is it? But it's just like a
sizzle?
Slightly little bit of carbonation left in your old sparkling water, because he does a little bit of a sassy shake. And, you know, Brent, he really goes for it with trying to get something out of everything, doesn't he?
He does.
And Riker's all right in it as well.
They make the money they need. Then Picard calls in. Then Picard comes in to micromanage. Stay in character. The investors are flamboyantly generous, he says.
Yeah, Forrest. The house doesn't have any problem with him just winning and winning. Nobody comes over and brings him to a back room or, you know, shoots them or whatever. I don't know what they do to people. So here's the excerpt.
So I'll be Riker. You be Data. We need some spreading around money.
Sir?
Bet it all. There you go. A little something for you, Ziggy. A little something for the cocktail waitresses. Why don't you run this outside? Give it to the parking lot attendants.
You're very kind, sir.
Here you go, Vanessa. A little something for you, too.
Thank you.
When the train comes in, everybody rides.
That's my favorite line in the episode. Stephen, baby needs a new positronic brain. Yep. So woo!
Riker insists that they bet all $12.3 million. Texas bets against them, even though Data says don't. He goes, "Oh, your winning streak's going to end." And then when he loses, he goes, "You tricked me into betting against you." And Data's like, "What's wrong with you? I said don't do it."
And I was thinking, oh, it's about to go off now.
Nope. Nothing happens.
No stakes. Ray says, only get on the Riker train if you've had all your shots.
Oh, boy.
So there's no consequences for them risking everything.
No.
You know, they still won.
Yeah.
There's no consequences for them annoying Texas.
Nope.
So where's the drama? What's the point in any of this?
There's none.
Does anyone know?
They buy the hotel, and then at that point, they are able to leave and beam out of there.
We mercifully and eventually end with this.
Come.
Sir?
Welcome back, number one.
Very strange experience. Puzzling. I still can't comprehend how Colonel Ritchie's vessel could have traveled out that far. Not on its own, at any rate.
Perhaps we're wrought here by whoever created the make-believe world down there. It's possible they don't know how fragile the humans aboard actually were. Only one of them survived.
None of it makes any sense.
Like Fermat's theorem, it's a puzzle we may never solve. That's my favorite part of this episode.
Isn't it?
Yes, that they say, you know what? None of this makes any sense, and we're never going to be able to understand it.
But we'll bring it back around to that maths theory we introduced earlier, so we'll get away with it.
Man, what a stinker.
Yeah.
Let's get into concept, shall we?
Yeah, Rebecca, do we think the casino program keeps running, or will it actually finish now? They can't have been waiting this whole time for them to be the foreign investors, because they never knew they would show up. unless they were waiting for some other foreign space people to show up and complete the program. Has it repeated several times?
Well,
is this the first time it's been completed?
Concepts. Okay, now we're talking about concepts. Why do they have to run the story linear, like have a story from beginning to end? If they're aliens and they go, we need to make a habitat for this human.
Right.
Why are they taking a narrative in the story and having it play out, I guess, over and over again?
Rather than just make that setting for him.
Yeah.
Because was he one of the characters?
Seemingly not. And if he did figure it out, would the program end at that point? Or they don't, it really doesn't seem like anybody sat down and thought about this for any more than 5 minutes. It's very frustrating, this episode.
Jeff says the trick is to find a casino that will let you win all the money and then buy the casino, because that's kind of, maybe that does take 300 odd years actually.
It could.
Rafe says Tracy Torme talked a little about what his version of the episode was like in an interview, the relevant part of which appeared on a Sliders website. Torme co-created the show Sliders.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to have a look for more of that. And Peter says that's just the way light beings think. So just hand wave it away with that.
Oh, Rafe goes on to write, the Royales, this is quoting Torme, the Royales was really my attempt to do a prisoner show. The hotel was the village, and the astronaut living there was like number 6.
Oh, okay. Can see that.
So it's an allegory, some kind of thing like that.
Oh, no, it's going too fast.
That's all right. Read your notes. Go back to your notes there.
We've been stuck inside novels before or similar. A piece of the action.
Yep.
The Big Goodbye, Elementary Day Data. How can we make a worn concept more boring?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out you can.
Well, they knew how to do it. They showed us exactly how to take a worn out concept and make it even more boring.
It's by not having any of the crew dress up or assume characters so that it's not funny or fun whatsoever. I feel like we need to check in on the comments are coming in thick and fast now. This is what it's all about, man. We got to get them. Okay. Why, John says, why would ending the story allow Richie to leave and die?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, they wouldn't want it to end so he could leave. Or it doesn't.
Yeah, but then why do they have it end when they get there at all? There's so many questions. And then why don't they let the Enterprise crew leave?
And why do they let them in?
There's a lot of bizarre questions.
Rafe continues, this is all allegory. Every day he woke up and lived this strange life inside the Vegas hotel, being among all these people who weren't really people. It was very surrealistic and kind of sad. Well, it sounds like it tormented him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It was awful. Very touching and very lonely, and he didn't understand his own existence. It was like being in a Vegas casino in this barren alien planet. Jason says, maybe the concept of linear time was new to the aliens. Yeah, maybe, I mean, let's try and explain it all away with the light beings' understanding of human stuff. David said, I like that they have to complete. Oh, no. It's jumped up. I like they have to complete the story somehow, but there are much more clever ways to do it, like fulfilling a prophecy. Yeah, that would have made more sense, wouldn't it, if they were the only people who could come and complete it, or something slots into place that was never quite there before. I know they're the foreign investors, but
they had to win all the money. I guess maybe that's one of the things. But
someone had to read it to complete it.
But why all of this? It doesn't make any sense.
Rafe says that's my number 1. The assistant manager was number 2. It was a very complex and surrealistic story. The thing stopped recording again.
Okay.
About loneliness and isolation. Yeah, but they pretty much lost all of that, didn't they? Maybe that was there more in the script before, his loneliness and isolation. Okay, come on, we've got to carry on having, even though we've got amazing
we
concepts.
Can talk to these. We can talk. We can talk about the comments
after we've done our concepts.
We've done our concepts.
All right. We can't detect their life signs or contact them, but Troy can still sense Riker's feelings, as we've discussed. That was bizarre.
Yeah, why?
To leave, you have to leave as a character in the book. or you have
Why?
to complete the story and then leave as a character in the book. You've got to be the flamboyant character even and spread the money around. The aliens created the whole thing to make the stuck astronaut's life pleasurable. They could read English, but they didn't bother to ask him for 30 plus years if he was enjoying it or if this was the kind of life that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was used by Arthur C. Clarke and Stanley Kubrick in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Do you think it was similar? I can't really remember that. Film was the world created for him in that?
Gosh, I don't remember. I think that the entity, when they go and meet it, boy, it's been a while since I've watched 2001. But anyway, keep going.
Someone will know. We've said that. The breathable air was for the guy, presumably. That's why there was a pocket of breathable air. I'm just going to have to say, and I think this is probably quite generous, 3 out of 10 for concepts.
I'm giving it a 2 out of 10 because what concepts are there are old, tried, tired concepts.
Made more boring.
And they're terrible. This is a mistake.
Now, here's some good news, which many of you will already know because it's old news. The maths problem was later solved by British mathematician Andrew Wiles in 1993. Do you know this? Maybe everyone doesn't know everything. I
did know this.
But there was an error. He discovered a book about it, age 10, and that set him off on this lifelong passion to solve the theorem.
There was an error in the theorem.
Well, originally it's just, as they said in the episode, a note in a margin saying that, Pythagoras' theorem, they said you can only do it squared, like in Pythagoras' theorem. You can't have it cubed or any higher for any whole number. And then this guy said that he had proof, but conveniently it wouldn't fit into the margin. So people have spent hundreds of years trying to find the proof that it isn't possible. So this guy discovered a book about the mathematician and set off on his quest. Okay, I've already said that. It's the original hand-wavium device, I think, that saying it won't fit in the margin. He put it down for a while, the mathematician we're talking about, but I realised, he said, the only techniques we had to tackle it had been around for 130 years. It didn't seem that these techniques were really getting to the root of the problem. The problem with working on Fermat was that you could spend years getting nowhere. It's fine to work on a problem so long as it generates interesting mathematics along the way. In 1986, it was linked to another theory, which ignited him again. It was now a professionally acceptable focus, so he could get back on it. For 7 years, it was in his every waking thought, except when he played with his kids. That was the only time he didn't think about it. This guy is much more interesting than the episode. He said, perhaps I can best describe my experience of doing mathematics in terms of a journey through a dark, unexplored mansion. You enter the first room of the mansion and it's completely dark. You stumble around bumping into the furniture, but gradually you learn where each piece of furniture is. Finally, after 6 months or so, you find the light switch, you turn it on, and suddenly it's all illuminated. You can see exactly where you were. Then you move into the next room and spend another 6 months in the dark. So each of these breakthroughs, while sometimes they're momentary, sometimes over a period of a day or two, they are the culmination of, and couldn't exist without, the many months of stumbling around in the dark that preceded them. Doesn't he sound awesome, this guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
He worked tirelessly despite knowing that he may never find the solution. He just had to know he was on the right track and then he could keep going. The maths needed to solve the next stage may not have been discovered yet. So even if I was on the right track, I could be living in the wrong century. So sci-fi.
Yeah.
You won't be surprised to know, Chris, that on the day he completed it in 1993, his wife was out with the kids. So he was undistracted. Yeah. And even when they returned, they didn't call him for meals or anything.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's good, isn't it? I bet there weren't many theorems solved during homeschooling, guys. After the error was discovered that he had made, he worked on it for another year with Richard Taylor and repaired the proof. 150 pages long, this proof.
Jeez Louise.
He thinks Fermat was bullshitting that he had proof. It's so complex. Finally, his advice: always try the problem that matters most to you. I had this rare privilege of being able to pursue in my adult life what had been my childhood dream. His odyssey is over now, and his mind is at rest. What a guy. 10 out of 10 for him. Love him.
Wow, that's great.
I know.
Let's get on to entertainment.
All right. I'm going to have to come back to all these fantastic comments later. Joe Webb, mansion trying a lousy casino. I'm all like, well, it was tiresome, wasn't it?
Yes.
Overlong, pointless, holodeck-esque episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was, this was one of 2 scripts that won Torme a staff job on TNG. It was kind of a surrealistic piece, but with a lot of comedy and a lot of subtle satire in it. But, as Rafe alluded to earlier, and as you did, I think,
Mm-hmm.
Torme used a pseudonym to protest rewrites by Maurice Hurley, who took out the surrealism and said it was too derivative of a piece of the action. Torme said, I felt like a lot of the comedy was taken out, a lot of the surrealism. I feel like it's very heavy-handed now, and it's gone from being a strange episode to being a stupid episode. That's from Captain's Logs, the Unauthorized Complete Trek Voyages. I think we can all agree with that.
Yep.
David says, magic is right. A story of solving this math puzzle would have been better. So much better.
Yeah.
So director Cliff Ball cited budget cuts as his excuse and called it claustrophobic. Well, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What are they going to do?
And Carol's saying, after the high point of Measure of a Man, TNG has a run of boring episodes.
Oh, boy.
Oh man, don't tell me that.
Sorry.
Screen, thank you. There was no sense of danger or fun. The only bit I liked was Data rolling the dice. Saying the dialogue is cliched and lame does not excuse it.
From being
Just
cliched
make
and lame,
it better.
Yeah.
They made no use of Worf. Why was he even there, really? There was one female character. None of the crew were involved. Female crew were involved.
No.
She was a dumb young woman being taken advantage of by a creepy older dude. So that's very Star Trek. Perhaps that was even worse than taking Pulaski down. Troy limply saying how Riker was feeling was our only other contribution from the women. Come on. 3 out of 10? Is that too generous?
3 out of 10. I've been more bored by an episode before. So yeah, I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
Rafe says there are some better ones before the end of the season.
Oh, there's a few.
I hope so.
Oh boy, the Irish episode is coming up. That's a rough one.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't understand. I'm not going to get into it. That's a topic for when we actually cover it.
Peter says we can try to be excited about which one will be the most boring.
Yay!
Yay! And Brian says, is there some kind of anti-Bechdel test where you can have 2 apparent female characters and one doesn't even show up on the screen? So what did you give it?
Entertainment?
Yeah.
Did I say 3? 3 out of 10.
Did you say 3?
3 out of 10, yeah.
Sexiness. The killer guy was styling it out 80s style with all the coats on, wasn't he? He looked all right.
Oh, Mickey D.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I liked the exploited woman's curly hair. Troy looked great in that outfit.
Yeah, she always does.
Yeah.
She always does.
And Data and Riker had a certain something when they were winning at craps, but overall you can't give it any more than 2.5.
2.5. 2.5.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Stupid experts.
Well, I thought if they tried one of them going through the revolving door, it might have worked, but it's not going to, is it, for story?
No.
Detecting the human DNA led to the solution. So that's something, isn't it? Geordi was working hard as usual.
Yeah, the only stupid expert thing that we actually got was that Riker stuck around instead of leaving.
Yeah.
But he couldn't have left.
No,
so they would have just found that out a little bit earlier and it really wouldn't have made any difference. But it was still kind of a stupid thing to do.
We got to have Picard with his book expertise coming in and helping us out. Joe Webb says the stupid experts was the rewriter.
Yes.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Maurice.
Thanks, Maurice.
And as you've said before, guys, the temperature was below absolute zero, so that's impossible. And the planet was estimated to be 72 billion Earth years old, far older than the universe itself. So, stupid writers. So I guess 1 out of 5 for stupid experts, but 5 out of 5 for stupid writers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I give it a 1 out of 5 for stupid experts.
Peter says we're all the stupid experts in this one. It's rubbed off on us, has it? I think you're probably right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Of course, John. We do know that the last episode of the season is a clip episode, which is pretty ridiculous. Your guesses.
I said there'd be shenanigans caused by the lifeless planet. Yeah. Though not the shenanigans weren't at them. They just were there already, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Data was wearing a Stetson. He wasn't a high roller, but he was wearing that type of guy's.
Hold on, technically he was a high roller. He won a bunch of money. What more high roller do you need to be?
That's true. All right.
I'm giving you that one.
Thanks. I was hoping for craps, yes. But knowing Star Trek, it'll be poker or blackjack. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The one woman allowed will be Pulaski. No. Light beings will make them gamble for their lives, kind of, but not intentionally.
Yeah.
So let's just tuck into what we've got here.
Rafe says that this is the 16-point total, the 12th worst episode ever.
All right.
Joint with Contagion and the TOS episode Bread and Circuses and The Children Shall Lead.
Oh man.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Data in a cowboy hat. He inspired Bender being a robot millionaire in Futurama. So that was good. And Forrest says, I think Colin Meaney isn't even in the Irish episode.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have disapproved?
I think he is in there, and I was he doesn't say anything. There are these aliens in this. Oh, we're jumping the gun on this.
Oh, don't worry, I won't remember.
There's some aliens that are Irish people, like peasant Irish people from like the mid 19th century. I don't know.
Is it going to be like that episode? Yeah,
and they've got an English guy playing Irish people.
Top of the morning to ya.
Pretty stereotypical, like Irish. Like, Father, how you doing there? You know, like all that nonsense. Yeah. It's very bad. Oh, they're not aliens. They're humans.
Oh,
they're human colonists. Okay.
The prime rib directive, says Peter, given it's a casino. You cheeky monkey. What you like?
2 tails and a prime rib.
What?
That was a deal at the when we went to Vegas once. Where one of the restaurants where you got 2 lobster tails and a prime rib.
That's just excessive, isn't it?
Oh yeah. What, in Vegas? That's odd.
The Lucky Charms episode, says Stephen.
Oh boy,
dear.
It's rough.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're gonna look at some more of your comments in a minute, but just to finish off the episode, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you to everyone who was on our live stream commenting and having fun, making us have more fun with this day than we did watching the episode.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for our beautiful patrons for supporting the show, and join us on Patreon if you haven't already, where this month's bonus content is going to be Free Enterprise with apparently Shatner playing himself.
Wait, is it? I thought we were doing the second part of the... Do we have another panel show that we're releasing?
We do, but we promised Free Enterprise for April, Wizard of Oz for May. So we've got this... the other Sapiens panel will come in at some point. But that's what we've said.
I guess we're watching Free Enterprise.
Is it a film?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Thanks for the sharp threads. Thanks, Peter. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows that listening, do they? No,
you don't know how good or bad we look when we record. So
just trust that we look great.
We look like this all the time.
Now I'm looking back on some of the older comments. Forrest said the astronaut should have been reanimated, or a projection or something about the alien, and Riker and the crew help him realize this, freeing him and them. Yeah, that would have been better, wouldn't it, if they had some interaction with him where he's still trapped in some way.
Yeah.
Or maybe he can give them the information rather than Picard having to come and solve it and micromanage as usual.
Right, yeah. Like they get him out of his purgatory that he's in. They somehow help sort out this. He's like, I can't, it's been going on and on.
Yeah.
And they keep me alive. Boy, that would have been horrific too. Like, I'm 280 years old and they don't let me out of this because the investors never show up. And
they think what he would want is to be immortal.
Yeah.
And in
an
Earth
no,
casino.
they don't understand. Why don't they talk to you?
Yeah.
Don't know.
As Rafe says about the mathematician, maybe his wife was less than happy that he only thought of Fermat when he was with her. It was only when he was with the kids that he could quiet his mind. Oh,
Yeah.
poor thing. Yeah, David, tiresome is the right adjective, isn't it? What
Tiresome.
a drag. I'm
was
so
a
glad
drag.
we got to talk about it together, though, at least. That's something. Yes, David, it needed more surrealism. It was just odd, wasn't it? It was claustrophobic as they described it, but not in a fun way.
No.
It was kind of menacing, but not menacing enough. We had this kind of murder story, but it never felt dangerous.
No. Scrolling down, looking more comments.
Magic Thighs, it's like Groundhog Day, which we've just had, haven't we? In the Discovery episode that we did. But instead of the tragic comedy, Bill Murray is dead, and we just get to see the goings on in I can't pronounce that. The place where they lived. Yeah, exactly.
Puxatawny.
Rebecca said she'd forgotten Worf was in this episode. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He kind of tries to phase or something, and that's all he does, isn't it?
Poor guy.
Although he did have one great comment about them dying in their sleep and that not being a good way to die. Yeah, true. Oh, I can't read everything, can I? I'm going to have to read them all later.
Well, thank you all for joining us on our live recording of the episode. If you guys like us doing this, we'll keep doing it at least once a month.
Makes me happy hanging out.
It's fun. All. Yeah, it's fun doing these recordings. I don't know, how was it to edit this episode?
It was all right, actually.
It wasn't too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a bit longer, but definitely worth it. I like it anyway.
All right, and with that, I'm Chris Lackey.
And I'm Rachel Lackey.
And you've been listening to
Rachel Watches Star Trek. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye for now.